Detroit Lions were the NFL's youngest team in terms of snap-weighted average age, and one of the 5 youngest in nearly 20 years. So last year's team was one of the youngest teams in nearly 20 years. And not what they did in the offseason, what they did in the draft, drafting some guys, Sam, that are rookies that are going to play, so they're getting a little bit younger. What is your confidence level in the Lions this year to, at least live up to the expectations, even with more young players a part of this roster?
Well, I mean, they also got some veterans in the secondary.
They did.
So let's be fair on that too. I think that will be absolutely huge for this team. You definitely didn't want to come into this season with Jerry Jacobs and Will Harris and Jeff Okudah starting games. I'm no disrespect to them. It's just they have obviously upgraded majorly. Obviously, you've got some rookies like Jack Campbell and Sam Laporta who you think will step in and play right away. Jahmyr Gibbs, we're hoping, makes a huge impact right away. He better be in the 12th overall pick, and certainly over the course of his career. And you talk about how young they were last year. That might explain some of their early season struggles, especially defensively. And I alluded to this in the last segment. Aiden Hutchinson, for how great that he was and for how great of a regular season that he had, the beginning of the season was a bit of a question mark. Even me, the biggest Aiden Hutchinson slappy you will find at this network by far, called for him to have 12 sacks to be Defensive Rookie of the Year. Even I had some questions at the beginning. Besides for that Washington half where he had 3 sacks, I was kind of waiting for him to get it going, and he did. James Houston, he didn't even play at the beginning of last season, and you expect him to get better, maybe get more snaps, be more than just a situational pass rusher. The Lions are obviously not going to turn into some veteran team overnight, just full of like wily, experienced people, but you also got, I think that Aiden Hutchinson will take that next step into being a star. I think guys like Penei Sewell and Amon-Ra St. Brown, their third year, are already stars and are only going to get better. We hope that Jameson Williams comes onto the field after that 6-game suspension and makes an impact. I actually think when you look at what they did in free agency, when you look at the draft, when you look at this being the 3rd season under Brad Holmes, I think they have a better mix of veterans and young players than you think, particularly on that offensive line, which is their strength, littered with veterans. Taylor Decker, Frank Ragnow, who, in my opinion, is the 2nd or 3rd best center in the NFL. Jonah Jackson. It's a good mix. I think that a lot of, the mistakes, and even Dan Campbell for that regard, I know we often forget about him. He's had some coaching blunders in the first couple of years of his career. He's another one that was young, inexperienced, and sort of learning on the job. And he did so much to galvanize the team at the end of last year, got them to keep fighting when it was looking real bleak, when they were 1-6 and we were talking about tanking.
Right.
So I think they have a good mix of veterans and young players.